Hey guys, welcome back to the Hopeful Founder podcast. Today we have the brilliant John Logue, who is the founder of this wonderful cider, CHANCE Cider. So let's go. And today we have a founder in yourself.
A hopeful one.
A hopeful founder. We're seeing a lot of non-alcoholic kind of brands. We've got Guinness Zero. Tell us a bit about how'd you craft something like this? How'd you go about a flavour like this?
So you do well not to, I guess, come across any kind of non-alc brands that are out there at the moment.
Yeah.
It's such a wholesale cultural change that people are looking to moderate more or remove alcohol from their experience. And what we've seen is the big kind of game changer was when a lot of the beers came on board.
Yeah.
So it started with probably Caliber back when I was a Guinness rep.
Okay.
And then you had Beck's Blue.
Yeah.
And then you had Heineken Zero.
Yeah.
And then more prevalently now you've got these brands that come in and just make non-alc. So people like Lucky Saint, who I was very lucky to work for, Mash Gang, Days, lots of brands are coming in that space. Cider's the second biggest market by value and third by volume in the UK.
Wow.
We used to make cider and give it to Romans as they were charging around the country. It's been in our culture for thousands of years.
Yeah.
So we've kind of had this moment where non-alc beer, non-alc wine, non-alc spirits, think about Seedlip and all those guys. Cider has just not had anyone come into that market. And after 20 years in the industry and obviously working lots in non-alc, I took it upon myself to kind of scratch that itch and create what I'm really proud to be, one of the best ciders in the country, let alone non-alc ones. Our cider is produced by Aston Manor, which is the biggest cider maker in the country, independent one. And what they do is it's kind of fun, I love telling this story. So cider's produced in about 3 months. Okay. So all the apples mature at different stages, all the different styles, all the different kind of farms they come from. They pick them all and then they press them. And then cider is roughly made in 2 weeks in the UK.
Wow.
Because all of the juice is fresh, right?
Yeah.
So you have to then ferment it. And what they do is they ferment it at a very high ABV, between sort of 8 and 12%. And it sits ready to then be taken down. So it's not like a gin where you can go, okay, let's go and make some more vodka and put some juniper in it. You can't grow a load of apples again.
No.
So that cider sat there, and what we do is instead of stopping at maybe 6% or 4% with what they do is they liquor it down. They basically just cut it with water. We just keep going a bit more until there's only 0.5% left.
Oh wow.
So at that point you've effectively diluted a lot of the flavour out.
So it's so obvious really that there's a lot of skill and passion, but experience and knowledge in just how you describe that process and that shaping of this taste, the brand. Where does that come from? Is that something that is kind of rooted in your experience, in your career? Is that something you've had to learn just starting this brand? Like, how do you kind of develop all that?
I think there's a huge amount that I've acquired and distilled and learned over the years. There's also a shitload that I've learned in the last couple of
I can
3
imagine.
years. But really sort of 20 years in the industry of working at big brands like Diageo and Rekorderlig and BrewDog and then Lucky Saint. I've been very fortunate to work with brilliant companies that help you understand the industry and how to execute correctly and how to work with customers and how the game's played. Also work with a huge amount of founders as an employee, but also as a consultant, learning from their great behaviours, learning not to do with their lesser behaviours.
What not to do, absolutely.
So taking all of those kind of moments and understandings has been key to this bit from my point of view. But also 20 years of, I hope, being a good dude, having great relationships, having friends in there. I've also been able to call on the ninjas in this industry to go, shit, I don't know what I'm doing here, what should I do? And that's amazing. Not like my mate down the road, that's guys who have multi-million pound brands or founders who have negotiated issues, or even down to the cider makers that we work with. These guys produce cider for every single supermarket, every single pub company.
So it's called CHANCE, right? Quite a unique name. We always love a brand name that isn't something to do with apples or so why CHANCE?
I know. There were 2 reasons. One, from a marketer's point of view, I wanted a word that instantly kind of was quite fun to say. It was quite onomatopoeic. It kind of spurs things. So you took the chance, or let's take a chance, or can I have a bottle of chance, or give me a chance. Not so much the ABBA thing, take a chance, but that has come along.
I love that.
So there was a brand element, but there was a very, very strong part of this of I always believe that like everyone's got a book in them. There's always someone stood it next to the bar going, I've got an idea, I'm going to do it next year. I wanted
it down on the handkerchief.
This is my chance. This is after 20 years in the industry, working with all these founders, having all this, like, one of my investors and one of my good friends, he just rang me and went, surely you've got an idea. And I went, yeah. He went, well, why don't you do it? And this is half of the reason it was to call it Chance.
I have to ask, how do you make these decisions on colours, on fonts, on logo and things like that?
So it's a really good story really quickly. So the A being a triangle is for a lot of different reasons.
Okay.
All of the apples in the UK come from a cider triangle. Cider as a taste profile is sweet, sour and bitter. So the triangle became quite important to us. On the back of the bottles, there's a tiny little triangle and
sweet.
each batch has some initials in there. So this one is batch 3 and it's got my designer Sal, my brand manager Jen and my other designer Mark's. And each batch will have that. So it's a tiny little Easter egg in there. The second one had my wife and my 2 sons' initials. Because my wife went, why am I not on this? And I know, all right, well, you own half of it, so chill out. But the first one actually had 1111 on it. So it had my home chat board, the FOD, a pizza club that I had in Australia with lots of friends called the BTC, and then 1111. And the reason why 1111 is important is I couldn't choose between the 2 colour versions. There was this dark teal and there was a reversed version. And I was asking everyone, I was actually late night in Mulligan's in Manchester just showing people pictures. Couldn't choose the difference. And I had to decide by this date, and I texted my friend at home, a legend in the industry, and said, which one should I do? And he just said, why are you asking me? I went, because you know best. He went, no, you know best. And I went, it's this colour. So then when I text the person I needed to tell him a screenshot of that, he said, look at the time, and the time was 11:11.
Oh, sweet.
So when we got into Prezzo, I actually got a tattoo of that triangle, but I want to have something that looks beautiful and modern, but I also want to have little Easter eggs in it.
Can we talk about brand?
Yeah. No.
I'm a brand guy, I love brand. We're a marketing agency.
Yeah.
And, we have those kind of challenges with our clients of, we've got to put a brand in the market. What do we look like? What do we sound like? How do we appear? And I think you've got a lot of brand experience. How did you approach this brand? Like, what made you go, yeah, we're going to call it Chance, it's going to look like this, and we think this is right for the market?
Okay. I think fundamentally, founder-led brands are going to be more appealing to consumers because there's a touch point there, and that's why there are so many celeb brands, so many founder brands that are doing well, because consumers just trust it more and they buy into the story. So instantly you're going to have a better chance than insert Spanish lager that's been invented in this country by a big beer company when we all know they're not from where they are. From my point of view, I've never tried to stray too far away from the initial insight, which was, surely there's enough people that feel like me on a Tuesday night that want a great tasting apple cider. So all of the behaviours, all of the brand noise, the language, the partners we want to work with, the bars we want to be in, they're kind of the ones I'd want to be in there. Tell
us like a bit about your kind of personal experience and relationship with this and how that informs the journey, really.
Yeah, I think it all sounds like the most dodgy statement, but I'm not sober. Not like, right, I'm not sober. So it was never going to be the story of like, I developed this because of, Spider-Man's made his own beer, right? Like, that was because Tom Holland decided that he wants to be sober. So the authenticity of that was kind of going, okay, well, maybe where am I going to choose my hangovers or choose my dusty mornings? But let's not at that lose out on watching the football tonight and wanting to feel like I'm watching the football with a beer or a cider. So absolutely, if you go back to that initial Tuesday night analogy of me wanting to do it, it's because I just had a gap in my own personal preference. And as a father or as someone who has a proper job or a busy morning, you can't roll up in the mornings like I used to, a bit hungover at work, and still be able to do it. So it was me initially trying to find something that would fit that gap for me, but definitely it resonates with a peer group of myself. But what's really interesting with non-alc is if we look at this middle ground of people our age group, I might be a bit older than you, with kids who kind of go, okay, well, we had a drinking past, we have a drinking future, but we're kind of understanding it a bit more. You've then got older consumers who are definitely thinking more about it because of a load of reasons, whether it be health understanding or just basically just the opportunity to drink better. And then you've got younger consumers who are just coming into the market who just don't really drink.
There's more to kind of our lives and our lifestyle where we need something like this that allows us to watch the Champions League on a Wednesday night.
Yeah.
But we can still have a bit of fun on the weekend and things like that.
We still innately need to have a moment where we go, okay, I just need to let go.
Yeah.
And all of those occasions which I was talking about, going to the pub or a gig or eating dinner or whatever, we shouldn't then devalue that moment by having to have a glass of water or a fizzy pop. And better for you is calories and sugar and natural products and low alc. That's why we call it a clean cider. It's not defined by being low alc. It's defined by trying to be the next kind of iteration of what an alcoholic cider can be.
So we've got some conversation cards here.
Yeah.
We're going to riff a bit. We're going to see what happens. No pressure.
Okay.
It's a quick fire round. Describe your business in one sentence.
The most inclusive cider brand in the world.
Brilliant. Love that. Wow. Fire. Next question. What is your why?
I think going back to chance, the why is I didn't want to look back and not have taken the chance to do something.
Yeah.
And I've always helped other people when really I'd spent so much time learning that I should have given it. I didn't want to look back and go, why didn't I take that chance?
What has been a founder highlight so far?
Like we're in Liverpool, we were sponsoring the Liverpool Hospitality Awards.
Amazing.
And on the way to the awards, I picked up an email from my big distributor that said, "Hi John, Preza would like to stock you across the 100 restaurants. Can you come back to me to say whether you're up for this?"
Wow.
And the next day I went and got a tattoo of the triangle on the back.
What's your go-to work music or podcast?
If I've got to concentrate,
If you've got to concentrate.
I can't put anything on that I like or I'm listening to, otherwise
Okay.
I'll just
Distraction.
go with that.
Yeah.
I just like something like Fred Again, which is like cool in the background, but I've not got to like
very
keep up with the lyrics.
good vibe, good ambience.
Yeah.
Love that. Okay, so what would you say to your younger self, kind of starting out?
Do this earlier.
Do this earlier.
Don't wait till you're 42. Pull your finger out.
Yeah. Sweet or savoury?
Oh, sweet.
Sweet.
Yeah, jelly sweets,
Jelly.
not chocolate.
Ooh,
Yeah, like
fruit
Haribo's.
jellies.
Yeah, Sour Patch Kids, just got into them.
Last one. Are you ready?
Okay, this is for the speedboat.
This is it.
Yeah.
What is the change you bring?
I have always been able to kind of get people on the bus, like being able to kind of, I've always said like, if you're in a band and everyone else in the band is better than you, you'll be in a good band. So I revel in the fact that on calls I'm not the most knowledgeable or experienced, but I'd hope when they come off that call they feel like they're up for it.
Well, John, thanks so much for coming on the podcast today, and just congratulations with it all. Really, it sounds like it's really growing. It tastes amazing. So yeah, cheers for coming on.
Cheers.
It's a wrap. Well, that's it for today's Hope for Founder podcast. If you enjoyed it, please like, follow, subscribe, and if you'd like us to produce your podcast, don't hesitate to reach out.